and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Get in the Herd podcast.
Award-winning.
Award-winning.
Check that
That's
out.
right. That's right.
We can say that now.
We can say that now.
Gosh almighty.
Welcome to Thursday. It is 2:00 here at the McShin Foundation, and we are in the studio today with, of course, our ever vigilant and valiant and all the victorious. We're going to go with V words today.
I like
Justin, our producer over here.
How's it going?
Hey. Oh, you've got a mic today.
I do.
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice.
We needed that.
We do.
What was that?
What was that?
I like that. Musical. Magical. And then we have our special guest today, Joey Jewell.
Again.
Joey, I brought you on today because I wanted to talk today about your dairy farming experiences. I wanted to say, how now, brown cow?
Brown cow.
No. No, but I know this is gonna be a little bit funny one today. Steve Worthington. Part of that Squeal Team 6.
No, it's called the Swole Team 6. Let's get that straight real quick.
Squad.
Yeah.
But I did want to bring you on the show today because originally you were going to host the show today.
That's
So just as we were sitting down here, I said, "No, you host, and no, you host, and no, you host." So, I'm at a loss for words.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Well, the thing is that you're much better at articulating, well, at least commencing conversation than I am.
Commencing conversation.
I'm a follower, not a leader.
Commencing conversation in 3.
Which brings us to our point, and I think the topic for today was how the transition from participant in sober living and going into house leadership and things like that has been a benefit to our recovery. Am I right on that?
Boom.
You're absolutely correct.
I mean, I know for me, like I had to go through a lot of trials to get to where I am a house leader at one of the houses at Smith House. And I relapsed. When I got here. I relapsed, like 2 months, maybe 3 months into my tenure here at McShin. And I got honest about it. And that was like one of the first times I think I'd ever actually been real about like a relapse or anything of that nature. And because like it just wasn't fun anymore, man. Like it wasn't. Somebody told me it wasn't cute, and then they said, "When was shooting heroin ever cute?" One time, they didn't even name one time that was cute. But like it wasn't cool for me anymore, man. I was tired of being dishonest. I was tired of like the just pulsating negativity, man. Like it throughout my life.
Pulsating negativity.
Yeah, dude. Like it comes and goes, but when it comes in extremes, man. Like before, like I've had a negative disposition on life most of my life, right? But like when I started getting honest and started being real about a lot of stuff about myself is when I was willing to make a change. And I'm thankful for that, man, because like they moved me into what they call the reset house now. And I spent like 3 months there or something like that. And I got my head back on straight and found out that I actually have goals that I want to achieve in life and things that I want to do. And I started surrounding myself with a lot of cool people, man, and doing this thing for real. And jumped back into the middle of recovery, like, and like I'm grateful for that. And I got the opportunity to be a house leader over here, and that takes on a new air of like being here at this program. It takes on a new meaning because I have to be. So me personally, like I have a hard time holding people accountable when I know that it's going to jeopardize their situation in life, right? Like if I know that somebody's using and I also know that they're going to go back to prison or jail or something as a result of them being found out or caught or whatever, like I struggle with that, man, because like I don't want to see anybody's freedom taken away from me. However, from my own personal experience, and I was talking to somebody about this today, sitting on the front porch, like, I know that from my personal experience, like, the only time I've ever been willing to do anything different is when I receive consequences for my actions. And like, God, that sucks that, like, being the arbiter of that is hard for me. And I know you were a house leader, too, you were, what,
Decades, I think, yeah.
Decades.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting because that is, I think that speaks to at least for me and my inability sometimes to, or my desire to people please will outweigh my desire to hold people accountable. I have a lot of smart thoughts on this. Articulating that is just not as easy for me, because I sort of got into a little bit of a it just happens. It's like suddenly something clicks in my brain, and it's like, you know what, the best way that I can help somebody is to do the thing that I'm supposed to do,
Right.
and that means holding people accountable and recognizing that, at least for me, when I see something, I have to say something. Like we had that this morning, something, without going into specifics, it was just a situation where, I'm like, you do know that this person just did this, and this yesterday. And, we had to sort of sit back and take a reassessment of what was about to happen, just to make sure that we're doing the best thing that we can do for the individual. I mean, the goal is not to put somebody back in jail. The goal is to get somebody some help to find a life worth living.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I get the struggle for that. I do get the struggle for that.
And it's like it's got a lot to do with the spiritual principles that we're supposed to apply in our lives too, like integrity and honesty and willingness and all this stuff. Like, am I willing to do something different than what I'm used to doing? Because like I've been to prison. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's a hard thing to shake once you've been, accustomed to that life or the street life or whatever for X amount of years. Like, it's a hard thing for me to even grasp in my mind, to be able to be like, okay, well, guys using, we gotta handle it with through the proper channels. Like, that's tough for me, man. Because I want to be like, oh, we can handle everything in house, or like all this stuff, and like, it's just some shit you can't handle in the house, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna end up burning the house down.
Well, and if one person, starts using, the reality is it can be a snowball effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly you've got 4 or 5 people that are, and we see that we see it here.
Yeah.
We see it here. We see it with other organizations where the accountability isn't quite what it needs to be, and suddenly 4 or 5 people are using, and it's and then we have 3 overdoses in one house at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a real that's where strong house leadership comes into progress, into man here. What do we got? Hello from Great Britain.
Oh, is that from Great Britain? I was like, what is gubba 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 gubba?
I think the Recovery Coach Academy's been on here before. Gibba, gibba, gibba.
Hey, gibba gibba.
Gibba, gibba, gibba.
Great Britain.
By the way, we're going to be saying this now.
Yeah, for months to come.
Gibba, 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 gibba. Hello from USA. USA.
Oh man, take a left, fellas.
Oh my goodness. So we recently stepped into a house leadership role. Now you were an assistant house leader at the intensive house a few months ago.
Mm-hmm. Absolute nightmare.
Well,
it was. I mean, because I wasn't. I mean, I was willing to hold people accountable for like house stuff, but like, man, I'm going to tell on myself a little bit here, but like I didn't care. Like I didn't care if people had cell phones. I didn't hold anybody accountable for that kind of stuff, which they're not supposed to have over there. All those things. Like I didn't, as long as they weren't getting high, is what I told myself.
Yeah.
And like, that's where the principle's coming again. Like it's a all encompassing type deal. That's where the honesty comes in. That's where all this stuff comes in. And like, and then the other thing is that I couldn't do it fairly because I had so many friends that like, you know what I mean? I had some people that were my friends and some people that I didn't get along so great with. And I thought that like I could pick and choose and like do all this stuff and like manipulate however I wanted it. And like today it's like, it's just not the case. It has to be a blanket. It has to be even keel across the board. Like, what's the big book say? Our thought life will be placed on a higher plane when our thinking is clear to wrong motives. And like, what is my motivations behind the decisions that I'm making? That's the piece for me. That's really like, I got to check my motives in everything that I do, especially being in like, I'm not a position of authority, but like, being someone that like supposedly people look up to.
Well, yeah. Well, and I I admire and I respect the fact that you do bring up spiritual principles, and you talk with that 12-step mentality, because you and I talk about a lot of 12-step stuff. As we all know, McShin, of course, is not a 12-step program.
No.
We embrace multiple pathways, with one caveat there, because we are and by necessity have to be an abstinence-based program. But I'll even qualify that abstinence-based while permitting medicated assisted treatment. Some people would say that's not abstinence. I'm not going to go into that argument. I don't care, because I'm not a doctor.
None of my business.
Yeah, none of my business, and I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
If we have it, if things are controlled. But that being the case, we are. We have a set of principles, a set of rules, a set of guidelines that, okay, these are the things you have to do while you are a participant here at McShin. And if you so choose to violate any of those things, well, then there must be consequences. It's like, this is a microcosm of life, just like anything else. If I don't pay my taxes on time, I'm probably going to get in jail.
Definitely.
If I don't pay my rent, I'm going to get evicted. It's like, these are the things that happen in my life. And so this is an opportunity to reboot a lot of thinking in a very safe environment. We all know, because I think we've all violated rules here.
No,
we're all participants, right?
I've never.
We violated rules, and the consequences haven't been like your life is destroyed. It's like, oh, you didn't clean the bathroom. Well, get out. It's like, okay, well, let's work with this and see how we can improve on this. And
I mean, like, see. When I finally had enough, man, and the flags didn't show up. I'm sorry, Recovery Coach Academy, that we made the gibba gibba joke. but like I thought about my life for like that week while I was using, right? Because like I was drinking a couple beers every day for like a week, right? And I was like, what am I doing, dude? Like, because like, that's not even me in the first place. Me in the first place is like, you're not going to hear from me for months. Like, you know what I mean? I go 0 to 1,000 instantly. So like, when I finally was willing to get honest with you guys, and you and Alex were the first people that I told, and God, that was a gut-wrenching, awful feeling, man. Just the guilt, shame, and the remorse of being that guy again, right? Like just doing the same thing, repeating the same fucking patterns that I've repeated this like my entire existence, or every attempt I've ever had at recovery, dude. Like I thought about it, man, like for a couple of days, and I was like, man, I just got to go tell these people, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it didn't sit right with me no more. I didn't feel right. I felt gross. Like I need to take a shower all the time, dude, because like I'm hiding stuff from people that love me, man, and just want to see me do the best that I can be. And so like I came and got real about it, and it ended up being the best thing for me, man. Like I moved into the reset house, and like I hung out there, and I was able to jump back into recovery and like try to help people over there too. And you know what I mean? They kept me over there for an extended stay because of that fact. And like, I was cool with it, man. And I enjoyed it. And it's been really beneficial to like springboard in my recovery this time. So.
You've recently started to make some changes in your life. How does that? In addition to now being a leader, in our housing, being a leader, a peer leader here at McShin, you're now taking on some new things for you. Yeah. Growing on things that you've done in the past. That to me is the neat thing about the recovery. It's like I don't know where everybody starts from, where everybody, we're going, but there's always something in the background that drove us initially. At least, I'll just speak on myself. Like I had a life that there were things that were interesting before I dove so deep into my addiction that I threw all that away. Yeah. But now, like in recovery, I get to start exploring that stuff again. I get to start revitalizing myself, I guess, revitalizing life. But I get to start doing things like that. And what I'm seeing you now do is taking those things on. And as a person who is friends with you, that's scary for me.
That's terrifying for me too. So.
Yeah, and I think I probably push you away a little bit. And in fact, I know Justin was just here a few minutes ago, screaming, "No! What the heck is he doing?" As I'm like, "Wait, hold on! Don't take this on! You have to." Because I want to fix mine to control everything, and I want to fix you too, and that sucks.
Please fix me.
Well, I can't do
Somebody.
that. I can't do that.
Anybody.
So talk about the changes that are going on in your life. What's going on?
I mean, so I recently quit my job, so that's a power move.
Give it.
But anybody that knows me knows that that's like not my speed. You know what I mean? I'm a workaholic, and I'm always at 1,000 miles an hour.
Bang!
All the time, man, and I have been for years and years. And so I reached a point a little while ago where like I was at an impasse, and like I realized that like although I'm very good at building things and like working with my hands and like figuring stuff out like that, like is that something ultimately that I want to do with the rest of my life? And I answered it instantly in my head. The answer is no. And I have a background in sports medicine, and I love it, man. I love it. That's my passion in life. And it's like, I love helping people work out. I love helping people fix their diets. I like teaching people about the musculoskeletal system. I like that kind of stuff, man. And watching the light come on when people get it. And so I lost my licenses and all that stuff because of inactivity. And so I'm going back and I'm taking retread courses to get them back. And I'm going to do all that stuff, man. And I'm stoked. And I'm stoked. But this is the terrifying part for me. And this is where the leap of faith is coming in is that like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Literally no clue. Never done this on my own. Always been through an agency or something like that. So, now I'm trying to do this like by myself. And I mean, obviously with the help of like people, but like not people in the field, like I'm trying to go back and do it all on my own. And it's like, and that's where the chaos is up here. And I've skipped the gym. Like I go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning every day. I skipped it the past 4 days, except for today. Today I went. That time. I mean, I've gone to the gym just at different times. Don't get that messed up ever. But but like it's got me in this weird state that this like I feel like I could be doing so much more and doing so much more and doing so much more, but that's where I push myself too far sometimes in the past, man. Like I've always done this thing where I go, crash all the way to the ground all the time. And I've done it time and time again, and I've burned down whole lives for myself, man. Like I had my own company, like building stuff and doing cool shit, and I had stuff and all this stuff, and like none of it meant anything to me. It fit real good on the end of a crack pipe, all of that stuff.
What's the difference now?
I got to do something different, man. I'm not getting any younger. Yeah. That's for sure. And I'm not sure what the end game is for real. No clue, but I know that I'm willing to take signs that are provided to me today. Like I love where I'm at in life. Mentally, sometimes it could be better, and it always can. But I'm willing to talk about it with people today. I'm willing to like let people know, like, hey, I'm not doing great today. But the difference really is I'm setting myself up for life instead of the instant gratification that I'm used to. Because like I'm very good at making money, very good at becoming monetarily stable. I'm very good at that. I can get it all back in months. And I've done it time and time again every time I relapse, but like I don't enjoy it, man. I finally want to do something that I enjoy with my life, or like that's something that motivates me and like helps motivate other people. And like the end goal for me is to try to aim it towards people in recovery for real, somehow in some way. Well, and I've got, I mean, I already do kind of, but like,
I would say we both work a program of attraction rather than promotion.
Yeah. And I love all the dudes I hang out with, man, and like we push each other constantly, and they're really the ones that push me to kind of do this and take the next step, and like I'm grateful for it. You know, I try to train guys for free right now. I don't know why I can't make money doing it.
Yeah,
You know,
good stuff. What about owning your own gym?
that's
Crazy.
that's too far. That's too far ahead. I mean, maybe. As long as we could paint a number 3 on it, am I right?
Oh, Braesdale.
Come on.
So we're looking at the screen here. We can see that there are some comments, and 2 of the people commenting, actually, and 3 of the people commenting, are, and I don't know about Gibba, but but I know Brian and Lydia have both been. Brian is currently a house leader here with the McShin Foundation, and Lydia has been a house leader, and I know Steven's been a house leader with another organization. If he's is he still? I don't know, but I know that
we won't get into that too much, Steven.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but I see what I like is that, like, that's the support I need. As a house leader myself, as a peer leader, as somebody here, who often does things that others. How do I say this? I'm a person who has a job where a lot of the things I do, like, I don't know who the other person. I'm the only person who does little tiny things in my job, and like I need to find. I need a network, right? Like I need. Just like I need in my personal recovery,
like a professional network.
Yeah, well, I mean, a professional network specific, right? So I branch out. I've got regular people in recovery who are professional mentors for me.
Right.
I'm not in it at the moment because of this, but I'm currently in a training, right now to help me with this stuff like that. It's like, what about that for you? Like, what? It's great to have my network. It's great to have my friends and the people that I get my kicks with. But like, for me to make that next step, like, I need the people who are making that step or have already done it. Like, I gotta, just like in my sponsorship, like in my recovery, like I realized, because me, I've changed sponsors a couple times, and what I discovered through that process is that I had made somebody, I made somebody my best friend, and I said, well, I want what he wants, and what I found through that process when that person relapsed was that I had found somebody who wanted the same things that I did. What I hadn't found was somebody who had the things
that you wanted.
So he didn't know where he was going either.
Right.
And it turns out, like, my disease and his disease were very similar. So, it scared the heck out of me when that happened. So now I have somebody in my life who has what I want. And that's, and it turns out it's different than what I thought it was 3 years ago. It's peace of mind, really.
Serenity.
And so for my professional life, right? Like, I have at least one person I talk to on a regular basis. I have a couple people, like, I'm building this network of people, professionals, who are doing the things that I'm realizing, because I'm growing too. Like, in my recovery, I'm finding that, hey, guess what? There are things that I'm interested that I haven't, I have no idea. I knew no idea that I would want to do this, years ago. And
you're so good at it, though. Dude.
Well, it's not, I appreciate that, but I love what I do.
Yeah.
I love what I do so much, and I love it so much that I get frustrated because I'm not able to do enough. I get so and that's what I heard you saying a minute ago. Get frustrated, and I want to say F it. And recently, I mean, there's plenty of times recently where I'm just like, this is too much for me. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm useless.
Yeah.
And I forget that like when I stop and I realize that the best thing that I can do for me, to help somebody else, is to just be more loving and understanding. And instead of being the nasty little that I can be when I'm pissed off, or instead of being impatient with people, that's one of my biggest problems, is the impatience part. But I hear what you're saying. Like, I may not be 1,000 miles a minute, but I am definitely a 500 miles a minute kind of a guy, and I get frustrated.
The biggest thing for me is fear drives my life, man.
Yeah.
I'm driven by 100 forms of fear: self-delusion, self-seeking,
self-delusion,
self-pity.
Oh.
No, that's for real, man. Like, it drives me. It drives me every day, man. And it's only when I'm willing to push through those feelings of or the drifting into morbid reflection or things like that. It's only when I'm willing to push through those things that I grow. And like that's what I've been trying to do the most lately is just like learn how to grow, right? Because like I can't take the first step if I don't even get up off the couch. Like Lane tells me this all the time, and I hate him for it. 5 miles into the forest, 5 miles out of the forest. There's no shortcuts. My using.
What about a helicopter?
No, there's no helicopter, Nathan. 0 helicopters present.
Come on, Lane. Burn that forest to the ground.
But like my using entailed a lot more than just drugs. So like my recovery has to entail a lot more than just abstinence. And like a lot of it's just being willing to grow. And like we know from the book, we suffer from a spiritual malady, man. Yeah. Like I'm spiritually sick. And like it's going through stuff like this, through like real actual life things that I'm willing to grow. And maybe the next time it might be something bigger that I'm willing to jump into. You know what I mean? And then that's the one step at a time that I have to take it right now, because like, dude, you're dealing with like senators and like presidents and all types of crazy stuff like that. And like, I'm just like,
that's nothing.
That is something, dude. What are you talking about? I'm dealing with like a bunch of people that just want to lose 20 pounds, dude.
Yeah, but yes, but we're all dealing with life,
I know.
It's, and I think, today, like the problems I have, are the problems I would have been grateful for 3 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. 3 years ago where I had no idea where I was going to be able to buy my pack of cigarettes or my bang or whatever, because bang. Because, that's like, oh shoot, what am I going to do? And now it's like, all right, my rent's paid. I have my car insurance. I have car insurance
Not
on
riding
a car,
dirty.
because I got my license. I like, okay, but it starts with little steps, and it starts with people who cannot be judgmental,
mm-hmm.
Who aren't judgmental, who are in service, but also have been where I was.
Right.
For me to be able to sit there and to be honest and say, you know what, I'm really scared because I don't know why I'm scared. I'm just scared because it's Tuesday.
Because it's Tuesday.
And say, you know what? Why don't you get the heck out of my office and read this book over here, or why don't we talk about what happened on this day 200 years ago? I'll tell you what, one of the best things, Paxton, who was the, was it Paxton? No, yeah, it was Paxton. Paxton, who had been the intake coordinator years ago when I
think I met him.
You might have met him, but he did one of the best things for me. He showed me something, and I use this to this day for other people now, and I use it for myself. I was painting over at Scott House. I was doing trim, and I was by myself, and it had been reported that somebody in that house had possibly been using amphetamines.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, I could not stop thinking about the amphetamines in the house that could possibly be there, and I was like, the obsession was kicking in. And, I was, 2 months into my recovery at that point, 2 months here. So I guess I was 4 months into my recovery at that point. And, I was already on a path towards isolation. I was literally alone in a house while everybody was over doing a field day at the park. And I'm like, I'm not going to go over there and do field day. Heck, screw you. It was some participant that I didn't like, because personalities, right?
Yeah.
And I stopped what I was doing. I came back over here. I sat with Paxton. I'm like, I'm obsessing. I can't stop thinking about it. He's like, oh, let's just bring up the paper, and this is what happened today. And and I was like, are you listening to me, Paxton? Are you listening to me? And then I just kind of, in my head, I'm screaming, help me. And he's just going, oh yeah, 1962, blah, blah, blah. The Magna Carta was signed on this day, and blah, blah. I was like, and I'm like, oh, right, I get it. Like, this will pass.
Like,
so that was
too shall pass.
Yeah. Brian, all about balance. Brian is one of the Brian's one of my best friends here, right? He's one of my best friends, period. And I love the thing about Brian. I've known Brian since I got here, and he was at Scott House, and I was very jealous. I talk about that, that I wasn't at Scott House. I went to Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, tough piece, right?
Jealous.
And the house leader at Chamberlain, when I first got there, real pain in the butt.
Yep.
Justin.
That would be Mr. Boogers over there.
Mr. Boogers. Gubba. But I was really jealous. And I got to know Brian, and he went and did his thing for a little while, but he came back, and he kind of stumbled and started for a minute when he came back. but he came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the opportunity to live together over at Sunnybrook. I was house leader over there for I don't know, a few months, and he moved in a few days before I did when we first got the house. And I had lived with Brian before at Chamberlain. Brian pimped that room out. Brian is a neat freak.
What do you mean pimped it out?
I mean, like the LED lights and all that stuff. By the way, you need to come and see my new space.
I do.
Yeah, because it's kick ass. It's kick ass, yo.
Yes.
But Brian is one of these people now who's a house leader, and has over a year of sustained recovery. And Brian, I forget what the 4 things are, but Brian will tell you he's got 4 things that he that he expects of the participants, that come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, you're gonna do your chore.
Damn sure gonna do that.
You're gonna be here on time. Communicate with me.
Mm-hmm.
Take the piss test when you need to take the piss test.
For sure.
Whatever the 4th one was, and it's like,
don't get high.
Well, don't get high, but yeah, that's good. But
it's pretty imperative.
It is. It's imperative, and right.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, like recovery house living, yes, of course, don't get high, and you need to do your chore, you need to be here, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And these are the 4 things. You do those things, no problem.
We're good.
Like we're good. And that's the thing about Brian. It's like, and me, like growing into the position of the house leader, like I realized I don't have to be everybody's friend.
Right.
In fact, it's almost a benefit if I'm just not trying to be everybody's friend.
Yeah, like if I'm just, the house leader there.
Yeah.
If I can jump in real quick, that
Please,
was one of my biggest problems. When I was house leader, I really wanted to be everybody's friend. And it kind of got me in trouble quite a few times, especially when it came to random UAs and people failing random UAs. I knew what my responsibilities were. I knew what was expected of me. But there was that crossroads of you're my friend, but you've also just done something that goes completely against the rules and that you need to be reprimanded for, basically. Yeah. And there were several times where I had to literally kick people out of the house because, they hadn't done the right thing. And that kind of created a conflict in me, that honestly to this day, I still think about quite a bit. And yeah, that was just kind of something that I experienced that, if I could have gone back and done it over again, it might've been a little bit different.
Yeah.
So
if I can, so I went to another program, man, and the healing place saved my life, as well as McShin. And one thing that has always and will always stuck with me from that place, and I'm eternally grateful to it, is that inappropriate behavior, if unaddressed, will always repeat itself. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I get high in the house, and whoever's in charge of the house or whatever lets me get away with it,
yeah,
then I'm gonna keep doing it, man, because there's no repercussions. I'd still be getting high today if I didn't have any repercussions for my actions. If there weren't any consequences, if there wasn't the desolation or the spiritual death that I get from it, if I didn't have any of those consequences, I'd probably still be using.
Yeah.
So, like, now, if I use while I'm in a house, and then like the house leader pees in a cup for me or something like that, like, what good is that doing for real? Because I'm just going to keep doing it, and see how long I can let that ship sail. Done that a couple times, a couple different recovery houses. So I'm thankful for the opportunity, man, and it's helping me grow, obviously, because now I have to, like, not try to be everybody's friend, because Joey likes friends.
Yeah,
Joey definitely likes friends. But Joey likes to see people succeed more than he likes friends. And hopefully I can help somebody do that, whether they like me at the end of the day or not. That's not on me. My side of the street's clean as long as I do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the 10th step for me.
Yeah.
Making a 10th step every day.
You know, the evolution of our thinking about what happens when there's a reoccurrence of use, and I specifically use the term reoccurrence of use because that's the evolution of the thinking around here. You know, relapse has a negative connotation, a stigma. You know, that a lot of us even in recovery and in recovery housing, you know, oh, you relapsed. You know, let me pile on the shame and the blame.
Yeah.
And you know, I still struggle with that because I don't want to do that to somebody. And yet there's a part of me, especially the people I love and care about the most. It's like, why do you keep doing this?
Right.
Why won't you just do the thing that we keep telling you to do right? I mean, we went through this with a participant just recently, you know, it's like, and at the end of the day, he said a whole bunch of things that, you know, he wanted to tell me what he thought about me. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to say goodbye to you like you asked me to.
Right.
You know, I've done what I can to help you. And that's it. That's like all I can do is be me. And so to evolve our thinking as you know, like it's not about shame and blame because you had a reoccurrence of use. It's all about how can we get honest and what else can we do to help you. Now, the cool thing about me and my actual physical job and what I get to do now is I get to help shift that change and that thinking on the policy, you know, on the legal, on the criminal justice system,
Yeah.
and on the justice for individuals, you know, who are involved with the criminal justice system. And so that is a very important part of my recovery. It's an important part of my job. And that comes directly out of my own personal experience and seeing how ridiculous, you know, we treat addiction in America. And having had no idea what it was when I got into it, because of course nobody could tell me that I had a problem.
Right.
Nobody could tell me I had a problem. And certainly not anybody who didn't know what I was going through, you know, and
people with letters after the name couldn't come into that have never tried shooting heroin in their life could never tell me how to cure my disease of addiction or you know, you
just need to go have a positive outlook on life and go do fun stuff.
I'm gonna put you on all this Ativan.
Adderall was the answer for me. Adderall was the answer. I was like, are you kidding me? I just spent $400 an hour. Seriously, you know, to get out, and I had no idea what that was at the time. Right. I mean, boy, did I find out, and boy, did I love that stuff. But it's like, you know, we now that we are in recovery, it's like getting past the whole anonymity thing of the 12 steps. I appreciate that. I know why it's there, or I have some understanding of why it's there. And I continue to grow in my recovery and branch out, and you know, I've got another pathway that wraps me more and more. But like, it's so important for me personally, right? It's so important for me personally to be out and talk about who I am, what happened to me, and to encourage other people to do that as well, to empower, embolden other people to come and talk about, you know, and other people are going to be in different places. I mean, I get that. Oh, yeah. But it's so important to come out and talk about these are the things that happened to me. And then I have days like today. Like I talked to the Henrico County Commonwealth's attorney and the Richmond City Commonwealth's attorney today, and a state senator close by, and a state delegate. He texted me this morning, you know, and so it's like this is my day.
How far have we come? Man?
And I even said that to shout out to Henrico County Commonwealth's attorney. I even said that to her today as I was talking to her. I'm like, I said, this is so crazy to me. I literally said to her, I said, this is so crazy to me. Just a little over 3 years ago when I was in my active addiction, I had no idea I would be sitting here talking to you about what we're doing right now. And I don't know that she actually, I mean, bless your heart, Shannon, I appreciate you. I don't know that she understood what I was saying necessarily.
Yeah.
Maybe she did. I'm not giving her enough credit, but because she's one of these people, and I think it really does cross party lines, you know, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever, you know, she's one of these people that is actually trying to help and looks and wants to find solutions to what is a public health crisis and not, you know, criminal justice issue. So looking at that, love that. Tina. Hi, Tina.
Hey, Tina.
Positive individual making progress.
I like that.
I like that too. I'm totally stealing that.
I'm getting it tatted on me.
Don't use rent. Don't use. Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. Brian, don't use rent, curfew, and chore. Very simple. Oh yeah, see, you're right. Don't use. Don't use no matter what. Hi to Alpha Wolf 2354.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is. Anyway,
but like I know that I am only responsible for the effort, not the outcome.
Right.
And like it's so major, the things that like we're capable of as people in recovery, you know, and like I mean it's imperative that we have that face of that, man. And it's like that's crazy, Nate. Like we've been through this. I don't for anybody out there that doesn't know this, Nathan and I have been doing this thing together for a couple years now, and man, like that's crazy to see where we're at, man. And where we're going. I mean, like if we keep going the way that we're going, it's the possibilities. And like that's what's blowing my mind right now. Right, is like there's so many different doors opening, and like so many different venues and pathways that I can take. And like I'm so grateful for like this place, especially, and like the program that I choose to work, man. Like I'm eternally grateful for it, man, because I grow every single day of my life because of it. And like, go ahead.
When you said we're only responsible for the effort, not the outcome. That as addicts, that's a hard thing to process. It's a very hard thing to process because, you know, back in our using days, that's all that matters was the outcome. And the effort, you know, minimal effort, maximum outcome. You know, that's what it's all about. And it doesn't matter what you have to do as long as the outcome is what you need it to be.
That's for sure.
And when you have to switch that around, you know, and think about what you do now is really what matters. You know, how you act right now. I don't want to say confusing, but it's one of those things that's just it's really hard to wrap your mind around that.
It's a conundrum.
Yeah. Very, very good word. Conundrum.
And it's scary. You mentioned being ruled by fear. Right?
Oh man. But that's been my whole life.
Yeah.
Like like Joey as an individual, dude, like I've had to put on so many masks for so long, you know, trying to fit in, or like I'm like this like weird combination of country boy, skater, Spanish speaking metalhead that, you know, like it's really weird, man. Like
it's difficult to drive anywhere with you. You never know what music is going to go.
You never know. Like I go to country music to death metal in a heartbeat. And then like trap music comes on, and everybody's
I've been listening to that Ailstorm.
Yeah,
I was listening to yesterday.
Norwegian pirate metal.
Hold on, Ailstorm.
Have
you seen them?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would like to.
They are amazing.
Literally,
they stay in character the whole time.
The whole time.
Like
speaking into the microphone.
We can't even say the words of the songs right now.
No,
we cannot, and will not. But if you're looking for an awesome pirate metal band, I'm plugging Ailstorm right now.
I love the phrase pirate metal.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
It's like the greatest shit, dude. Oh man, I don't even know where we were going. Oh, fear.
It doesn't matter.
So, but like I've had to put on all these different masks every time. Well, I guess I didn't have to, but I wanted to, and I tried to, so that I could fit in with so many different denominations of people, man. And like that's kind of like warped my perception of reality over time. You know what I mean? Like, like I don't, because like now coming into recovery, I don't even know who I am. I have no clue who I am. No clue what I even like to do. I know that I like to lift heavy stuff. Like that's literally almost the only thing that I know that I like to do, and play guitar. I mean, I still skate sometimes, but whatever.
What?
Sometimes whenever, little ones are running around with skateboards, I kick them off of it and take the skateboard.
I tried to skate about a year ago, and my knees are shot, my ankles hurt, and I was just like, you know what? I'm old and it's over. It's over.
It's over.
I'm
My
old.
skate career is
Time
done,
to move on.
Yeah. But like I like there's so many things that I'd like to try, so much stuff that I'd like to do, man. And like when I'm authentically Joey, people tend to like me, man.
Authentically Joey.
Authentically, just like be myself, man.
We love you, Joey. We all love Joey.
I'm trying to learn how to love myself.
Okay, I love Joey.
No, I love Joey too. That wasn't. I'm sorry. That was.
No, he was
never a doubt.
He was making fun of me the way I was like, the way I cringed whenever you say we all love me, because I don't know how to love myself for real, and that's something that I'm working on.
Do any of us really know how to love ourselves?
I don't know.
But I mean, That's the goal, though, isn't it?
I was in your house a couple days ago, and you weren't there, but I just, you had your bedroom door open, and I just looked in, and I was very, very pleased to see the bed made. and I mean that respectfully. I do mean that, because that's not only an indication of, hey, you're following the rules around here, but also that to me, for me, it's an important part of my day. And, I talk about that all the time, right?
Yeah.
But like, I see that as okay, cool. There's an acceptance and a care, for what you're doing, that I see there.
Yeah.
And I saw the guitar on the bed too.
Yeah, I always.
Not that I'm creeping on you. It's just I happen to be there.
You can.
No, well, Fellowship from Gibba Gibba Gibba.
Not Gibba Gibba.
Yeah, Recovery Coach Academy.
Come on.
Fellowships gave us. I no, if I try to do a British accent, an English accent.
No, don't.
Don't
That's
do that.
disrespectful.
Well, Fellowships gave us a place to heal, learn, and grow. Somewhere always available. That we value. We choose to make long-term recovery visible, exciting, and achievable outside of that space. Absolutely, I appreciate that.
I appreciate that too.
Well, and the cool thing is, like as scary as it is to talk to like Connell's attorney and stuff like that. For me, I talk about that stuff probably because I'm masking the fear of the other stuff in my life. Like,
I would literally have a seizure if I tried to talk to anybody like that. I swear, I think I would go into convulsions. If
I get to have relationships with my family.
I can't even talk to people with a badge on without. I swear, I'm telling you, that's real. That's no joke.
We have to have a conversation. We'll do it off camera about why procrastination was good for me the other day.
Oh yeah, you did tell me. You did tell me about court.
Robert Legg. Robert, I think I know you. I know Robert. Robert Legg says, how much would it cost to set up and run a McShin model for 1 year? Robert, that's a really good question.
That's an excellent question, Robert.
The model that we use. Gosh, what do we have? 130 beds, I think, at this point. I'm looking at Justin over there, my producer. Produce answers, Justin.
I know I have a bed.
I know I have a twin bed.
And there's another one in the room I'm in.
But and you're with Pat. That's good, right?
I'm with Pat.
You're with
yes.
Pat. Aw.
Pat's the man.
You guys do have a good. That's a good.
We got a good house.
Space.
It is an awesome. I love that. I absolutely love that room. Absolutely.
I don't think
room.
it's
back in the cut.
I haven't been in that. I hadn't been in that room until recently, just a couple months, right before you got there.
And when I realized that I could just move that recliner a little bit forward and point it towards my TV, game over. Game over.
Isolation.
Yes. Yes.
But Robert, to answer your question, it really, you can start with one house, you can start with two houses and a space. The cost, that's definitely something to talk to John about. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go into what our budgets and everything for the year is, but the comparable, if we want to look at the comps, the comp is the alternative is a year in jail, or a year in prison, and you're talking a lot less money to house an individual in one of our recovery residences with a much better outcome, a proven outcome. You put people together who authentic peer-to-peer network of people who hold each other accountable and give the love, the care, and support. And guess what? People who aren't in prison go back to work.
Oh man!
And they become better parents.
Tax-paying citizens.
Wait, taxes?
What?
You pay taxes?
I do.
And so
I did.
It's yeah, I know. But that is a good question, Robert, because really, we have a scalable program here. What I was doing and why I was talking to these people to the people the last couple of days is because we're putting together a separate little program together that we're asking for support, and it's the whole thing is scalable. I can for X amount of dollars I can do X, or I could do Y, I guess. And for Z amount of dollars I can do A. So really, get me out of this because I'm just rambling at this point.
Oh, you're doing great.
It's scalable, Robert, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It just costs a lot of commitment, genuine commitment, and a love and a passion and a non-judgmental attitude.
That takes a whole lot of people that care too.
It takes a whole A whole lot of people.
I
Don't care.
mean, dude, everybody in here, I can promise you and assure you one thing: a lot of the people that work here do not do it for the money, man.
Nobody here does it for the money.
Right?
Guaranteed.
Promise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, but like I was talking to Jesse about it yesterday, and like I was telling him about like my end goal for like what I'm doing in life, and he was like, dude, that sounds awesome. Like, and I was like, it's kind of like the same reason he does what he does, or like what you do, because of genuine concern for the people coming behind us that just want to stop using, man.
Yeah.
The desperation gets enough. We're willing to do something different, and like that's another thing that's plagued me over my existence is the gift of desperation tends to fly away over time. Sometimes, man, like if I'm not ever vigilant in what I'm doing and like practicing a program, like that gift of desperation goes away. That's what I lean on.
Yeah.
So now I don't have that security blanket. So what do? I end up using if I'm not properly motivated. No, that was me. That was my friend.
Well, that gift of desperation can go away so quickly when the car and the relationship, and all the things come back, the material or the outside stuff. I've recently been experiencing some of that outside cleanup stuff while not wanting to deal with inside stuff, and I've spent way too much money on lighting for my bedroom.
That I gotta come see.
You gotta come see it. Looks really badass.
But did you spend too much money though?
Oh heck yeah!
You gotta come see my deflection techniques.
No,
All right, fair enough.
no, it's way too much money. Way too much money.
Tell the people how much you spend around.
No.
Can I tell them?
Listen. My recovery demands that I talk to someone, not to everyone. There are things for my sponsor, things for my network, and things for the show. But let's just say I still have the money for rent for 2 months of rent, which is important to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Culpeper, huh? He said.
What's that? Robert. Oh yeah, Robert. I checked with John. I want to start something in Culpeper. Our board of supervisors wants to spend. I'm assuming board of supervisors because BOS could be something else, I suppose. Wants to spend hundreds of thousands on a drug court. Oh yeah.
2 to 3 people a year.
Yeah. And McShin model could reach a lot more people for a lot less money. Robert, I know how you feel about drug courts, and I feel the same way. They are ineffective. They don't address the actual problem, and in fact, they really create a system that's not meant to help. It's really
They're
just
trying to get you back in there.
Yeah, I mean, even the best of intentions with a drug court is really just not helping. It's really just not helping, and it's not a system set up for success. And I'm really glad you brought this up because part of the evolution of thinking about what a reoccurrence of use is, here at McShin or at other places, is that when we who are in recovery are still acting, throwing shame and blame on somebody who does has a reoccurrence of use. Well, we're still part of the problem, in Nathan's humble opinion over here.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not willing to get honest, well, then yes, of course, there's going to be some consequences. I can't do anything for you if you're not being, and this is a problem I was having with this particular participant that Justin and I were talking about earlier. If you're not willing to get honest with yourself, I can't do anything for you.
Right.
But if you want to get honest, we can help you.
You can try.
And that's the thing is, what drug court rewards is dishonesty. It doesn't reward honesty. It just, okay, you want to sign some papers. I did this many meetings. I did this many this and that.
No, man.
There's no love. There's no compassion. There's no understanding.
There's no accountability.
There's no accountability.
I mean, the accountability piece is just the consequence part, the consequential part where they lock you back up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure how drug court works because I can never get anything like drug court because, they won't let me out on stuff like that. But,
Well, they're not in every
county.
Yeah.
Like that.
And
I
so
know that much.
that was never an option that I knew about for me.
Me either.
Actually, I think Mosher is trying to bring one into, where was I? Fauquier County. But that's a good point, though, because the other thing about drug court too is that it disrupts the day-to-day life. Often it creates a system because a person who has been incarcerated coming out as a felon, automatically, I think everybody's got no driver's license, right? Is
not
that
everybody.
True?
No, that's not true. Like when I came out of jail, I still have my driver's license today.
So it's just possession charges.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
I mean, I have a possession charge, but it's not finalized. So
Well, that's what I mean, a possession, conviction.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Unless you get a clause in the indictment that says, or in the sentencing report that says
Yeah.
you don't lose your license.
well, there's a lot that's
Whole lot.
not getting addressed by the drug courts. Transportation, housing, all the
Like,
things.
dude, how am I supposed to get to work without a license? Well, I got to meet with you 4 times a week. You know what I mean? Like, what?
And often the places are not on a bus route.
Definitely. Not.
So it's not like it's easy to get to. But I really appreciate the question, Robert. I'm looking at the time here, man. We could sit here and talk for hours,
Literally.
and we probably will. But we're not going to do that on y'all's time. We're going to let you go back to your daily lives and welcome you back on Tuesday next week. Tuesday next week. I'm going to have some extra special guests next week.
I will not be one of them.
Well, you might be a host.
Excuse me.
Well, we're grooming Joey. He doesn't know this yet, but we're grooming Joey to possibly sub in as a host here and there. Anyway, let me land this plane, guys. How now, brown cow?
There it is.
All right. Well, to all of you out there, appreciate you, love you, great to see you, gibba gibba gibba, and we'll see you next week. Thank you all for participating on Getting Heard.
Praise Dale.
My name is Shannon Lance. I'm currently here in recovery at McShin Foundation. I got out of jail on January 10th, 2021, and while I was incarcerated there, my mother passed away due to COVID complications on December 14th. It was a really challenging event in my life. While I was incarcerated there, I watched the recovery videos and the podcast on the tablets there, that was made by the McShin Foundation. Getting to Heard podcast really made me feel like I was a part of something on the outside, because there's people that are commenting and just seeing people that I was incarcerated with on the videos, and just thinking, man, that's going to be me before too long. And I'm going to be sitting there in them rooms and be able to be a part of the podcast and Getting Heard series. And now I'm a part of the Herd here at McShin, and it's an amazing feeling, and it's nice having a fulfilled sense of hope in my life currently, and just to live one day at a time, and just to have positive feelings in my life and good relationships with my family and friends is an amazing event.